day to learn something new. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
You're listening to the home of Sooner fans, KREF, Norman, Oklahoma, and streaming live on the KREF app.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
So you're a big avocado toast guy and a big hummus guy, huh?
Not a big hummus guy. Steely definitely told you that, didn't he?
Steely in the text line.
No, I said hummus was a 6 out of 10 kind of snack. Avocado toast, yes.
You and Muleshoe, man. You and Muleshoe love you some avocado toast. What do you eat hummus with, just out of curiosity?
So I don't have hummus in my house.
Oh, okay. So you don't buy it.
No, there have, like, the women in my life, be it my mother or my girlfriend right now, they have been hummus people. My grandma, hummus person. So, I do like hummus, but I have never actually bought it myself.
Would you characterize hummus as feminine, based on the sum of your experiences?
No. Because hummus has flavor. When done right, hummus has flavor, and it's got seasonings. And sometimes it's got a kick to it. No, it's not feminine.
I mean, you went on the whole spiel about all the women in your life buying and eating hummus.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's feminine, but I also wouldn't say it's something that a whole lot of men buy themselves.
I personally do not buy hummus.
But I do think they would eat it if set before them.
Do you like kava?
I love kava. I love kava.
I have very mixed feelings on kava. Because at the outset, like when Norman first got a kava, you know, like it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's healthy and it's filling. And I was like, okay, I can get down with this. Then I realized this is way more expensive than it should be.
Yes, it is pretty expensive.
Like, you're paying $12 for what? For what? A lukewarm bowl of rice, chicken, and veggies. That should not cost $12, even in this economy. Knock the price down. Cut it in half. Heck, 2/3 of what it is right now, and I would find it acceptable.
It's
$12 for one of those bowls? No, sir.
It's one of those things where it depends on the season. So if I'm cutting and trying to stay lean, I can go get me some kava. But like if it's right now where I'm trying to bulk as much as possible before I have to cut before the summer, and I need the extra calories, okay, then I might go to Chipotle or Qdoba or something like that.
Julio says, do you guys like hamburgers? I like hamburgers. Amen to that. We had hamburgers
Speaking
today,
of hamburgers.
courtesy of Bad Daddy's. Coming in town for the game this weekend, Bad Daddy's is the spot for you. It's your football headquarters with over 25 TVs, insane burgers, delicious chicken, Philly cheesesteaks, and my personal favorite, the banana pudding. 24th Avenue at University Town Center, 405-561-1067. The show is brought to you today by Dorsey Jones GMC out in El Reno. If you're looking for a new vehicle, give GMC a try. GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and Dorsey Jones offers fantastic service as well. So make the trek out to El Reno and tap in with the folks at Dorsey Jones. You want to hit us up with the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line today, you can do so at 405-651-3439. It's wild to think that we are 3/4 of the way through calendar year 2025, Mr. Singleton. Today is the final day of September. October is upon us. Tomorrow marks 10 days until the best day of the year, that being the Red River Shootout at the Cotton Bowl. But as we are now closing the book on the month of September, it is time to designate our KREF Recruiter of the Month. And this one was virtually uncontested. We had long said that if Cooper Hackett wound up a Sooner, that would automatically make Bill Bedenbaugh and Teddy Lehman, co-recruiters of the month. So congratulations to Sir William, as well as Fort Gibson's finest, the Buckus Award winner himself, 2-star Ted, for each winning a share of K-Ref Recruiter of the Month distinction. Cooper Hackett, the biggest commitment, both literally and figuratively, for Oklahoma this month. However, it was an awesome month for the Sooners on the recruiting trail. They got Zizi Okafaleze committed. They got Caden Penny committed. They got Mikhail McCreary committed. They got Damari DeJearn committed. A pretty banner month of September for the Sooners on the trail, all things considered.
They got themselves off to a really good start for 2027, which I don't know how much is left to shake out for 2026. My whole feeling coming out of that Michigan game where you put on the spectacle and then you went out and won the game was, what could this do for 2027? And to probably the surprise of nobody, especially if you listen in on the show or you are tapped in with Parker at OU Insider, 2027 is off to a banana start. It's off to a pretty damn good start in that recruiting class. And look, you've also positioned yourself too, with the success that you've had and the success that you could have down the line this season. You've positioned yourself to be able to hold these commitments as well, because we're still really, really early in that cycle. These kids are in the middle of their junior year. They still got a whole other year of ball to play. But if you continue the success that you've already been enjoying, and then you carry that into next season, this is going to look pretty good from a standpoint of, we got these dudes recruited early, and they stuck with us the entire time.
2027 has the makings of a very special class at the University of Oklahoma. And to be frank, Grayson, I don't think Oklahoma is too far off from adding more commits to that 2027 group. I think throughout the month of October, especially if the Sooners can stay hot, and they have the opportunity to stay hot. I mean, they got 3 winnable games ahead beyond Kent State. They can beat Texas. They can beat South Carolina. You could argue they should beat Texas and they should beat South Carolina.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Ole Miss, I mean, they're going to be favored over Texas. They're going to be favored in all likelihood over South Carolina at this point. Ole Miss kind of feels like a toss-up right now. Rebels are playing good ball. At least you know they're coming to your building this time, so you're going to have home field advantage. And, hey, I should not gloss over this. None of us should gloss over this. It's felt as if, for the first time in years, here in 2025, Oklahoma has a legit home field advantage this year. That crowd, that environment, gives Oklahoma a legit home field advantage.
Have you not felt that way in the past?
I haven't felt that way in the past.
Interesting.
The environments in the latter days of the Big 12, of Oklahoma's stint in the Big 12, they just generally felt very stale. It got a little better in 2024. I mean, Tennessee was good environment-wise. Obviously, Alabama was good environment-wise, but it didn't start that way. It kind of mounted over the course of the game as it became clear that, Oklahoma's going to pull this upset in convincing fashion. But it's felt in 2025 as though Oklahoma has a legit home field advantage. And that ought to make Sooner fans all the more confident in what this team can accomplish on their own home field, going up even against top-tier teams like an Ole Miss or like an LSU at the end of the season. I still think LSU is a top-tier team in the SEC. They got some issues to figure out, but who doesn't in the first month of the season? No one's playing perfect ball. Here's a really, really good text from the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. A 580 listener says, "Where are the people who were criticizing Nagy before he even had a chance to fully get his hands into the recruiting?" Nary a peep on that front, Grayson. To me, it seems apparent that Jim Nagy is going to be one of those guys similar to a Bill Bedenbaugh, for instance, or a Jay Valai. Jay Valai is a great example of this. No one ever talks about Jay Valai. You know why? Because Jay Valai just does his job. Same thing with Brandon Hall. Brandon Hall just does his job and does it well. Jim Nagy, thus far, he's doing his job. He's doing it well. We're not really talking about Jim Nagy, and that's a good thing.
I'll talk about Jim Nagy. He's doing a hell of a job. And we are right on schedule with my first prediction when Jim Nagy came here is that it's going to be a couple of years before you really feel the Jim Nagy effect. And with the fact that the recruiting class is taking shape in 2027 as it is, I think we're right on schedule with that. I think he's doing an excellent job. But also, the people on the field who are getting those results that they are helping him out a lot. It all works in this symbiotic relationship.
Let me ask this. Let me ask this question to the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Is there ever a circumstance in which you would root for Texas? Is there ever a circumstance in which you would hope the University of Texas wins a football game? I already know we're going to get a great variety of differing answers to that question. But here's the reason I bring that up, Grayson. It's because at this point, Oklahoma's got a good nucleus in the 2026 cycle. Braden Allen, the 3-star wide receiver from the state of Louisiana, I expect him to commit to Oklahoma in the coming days. That will be commitment number 20 for the Sooners. At that point, they're still in pursuit of 4-star linebacker Jacob Curry from the state of Florida. But flip season is upon us as well. Who might Oklahoma flip? Well, if you're looking at positions of need, you're looking at positions where Oklahoma can still afford to add a guy at a given spot. Offensive line springs readily to mind. I think Daniel McMorris is going to wind up in Oklahoma's class, and we'll see at that point if the Sooners still feel inclined to go and grab what would be a 4th offensive lineman. But I know for a fact the Sooners are very actively engaged in recruiting several other wide receivers that are committed to other schools. We've talked quite a bit in the last couple of weeks about Milan Paris, the Iowa State commit. I expect him to take an OV with the Sooners at a certain point. But we brought it up yesterday. Jaden Petit, the 4-star Wisconsin commit, who is off to a ridiculous start to his senior year down there at First Baptist Academy in Naples, Florida. And then Davian Gross, who, of course, in dramatic fashion, committed to Florida over Oklahoma back in late July. What's the issue? The issue is that Florida is currently 1-3. And Billy Napier's job security is virtually non-existent. And a loss at home to Texas this weekend may be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Billy Napier in Gainesville. At that point, it is altogether likely that several members of Florida's recruiting class with viable alternatives will begin to look elsewhere. And Lord knows, Davian Gross is one of those guys that will have viable alternatives.
Desmond Green as well.
Desmond Green as well, although I'm not really of the opinion that Oklahoma is going to take a second run at him. They would take a second run at Davian Gross, and they've stayed in contact with Davian Gross. The contact has never dropped off. Now, Oklahoma hasn't really been under the expectation that his mind is going to change, and I don't know that they have really pushed to flip Davian Gross. That's not the sense I've gotten. But especially if Billy Napier is out of a job here in the not-too-distant future, I do believe Oklahoma would start pushing. And so, do you root for Texas this weekend if you're an OU fan and want to bring home the Texas state champion in the 200-meter dash, a top 100 national prospect in the 2026 class in Davian Gross? Because, make no mistake, the second that Florida is out of the picture, if indeed they do wind up out of the picture, Oklahoma's going to be number 1 for Davian Gross. Somebody's going to have to vault past Oklahoma in the race for Davian Gross's services if the race opens back up. And so a Texas win this weekend in Gainesville, it might do you some good because it might accelerate the process of Billy Napier hitting the unemployment line. And thus, Florida's recruiting class scattering to the winds.
The answers to your question on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line are like you, what you predicted. They vary. Now, you have said on this show for the better part of the last week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks, that Oklahoma was not inclined to get back into the gross sweepstakes. So what's led you to the change of heart now?
Really just the reality that he's an awesome football player, and his camp, to my understanding, has been receptive to continued contact with Oklahoma. And that was kind of where, when we were having that conversation previously, that was kind of the sticking point was, can they get back, will they get back on cordial terms with Gross and his camp after the way that process ended? Because there were some hurt feelings. And look, this OU staff has never operated in such a way as to permanently burn bridges or hold grudges. And so from everything I've heard, the communication with Gross's camp has been solid. It helps that he's got a teammate down there at Frisco Lone Star who's committed to Oklahoma in Ryder Mix. Now, I think I've gotten the sense things are further along with Jaden Petit than they are with Davian Gross. And I've also gotten the sense OU is only going to take one of the two. And so it's not, and I want to clarify, it's not like a we will take Davian Gross at all costs type of approach by Oklahoma. In July, that's what it would have been. But things change when you leave the Sooners at the altar in favor of a school 1,200 miles away that got in comparatively pretty dang late in the process. And so Oklahoma feels great about their current haul at wide receiver in Daniel Odom and Xavier Okafaleze, and potentially in the not-too-distant future, the likes of Braden Allen. So I don't know if there's a feeling that they need Davian Gross, but they'd be willing to take a fourth. And you can't really go wrong between Davian Gross and Jaden Petit and Milan Paris. All three of those guys, awesome receivers, but you can't make room for all three.
Here's my thought on Davian Gross. And if he wants to come to Oklahoma, if he decides, Florida's too much of a shaky foundation right now for me to go there, here's why you take him if you're Oklahoma. Is there a player on your roster that mimics the skill set of Davian Gross and all the things that you could potentially do with him? Because when we bring up the name Percy Harvin in comparison to him, and we're not the only ones who have done that, Florida has done that as well, which is something that they're not inclined to do. There's not too many of those dudes running around in the United States. There just isn't. So my feeling on Gross is that if he is that unique with the speed and quickness and the multitude of positions that he can play and just the array of ways that you can use him, man, I got to take that dude, especially with a creative young play caller like Ben Arbuckle for however long he's here. I got to take that dude and give my play caller that sort of a chess piece to work with.
Mm-hmm. Here's the issue, though. The issue is the cost-benefit analysis. Because every single blue-chip recruit that you sign in this day and age, you're going to have to pay six figures to. And in many cases, a high six-figure amount to. And so for Oklahoma, the first time around, Florida paid a hefty price for Davian Gross. That should be obvious. We're dealing with a top 100 player with a very unique skill set. And so I think what it will ultimately come down to, if and when these conversations really ramp up and the buzz surrounding a potential flip really ramps up between Oklahoma and Davian Gross, it's going to be a matter of, okay, what is it going to take to close this deal financially? What is it going to take versus at what point are we more willing to invest into a guy like Jaden Petit or Milan Paris, where we feel like the potential for return on investment is better at that particular price point than it is in this case with Gross. And so this could go one of a multiplicity of different ways. This is something that Jim Nagy and his staff, this is why you brought these guys in, to deal with situations such as these and to try to accurately place value upon assets.
Properly
and upon
pricing commodities.
Correct. Properly pricing commodities. That's what Jim Nagy and his front office staff are there to do. And that's what they will be doing down the stretch here with all of the receivers with whom Oklahoma is actively engaged over the final couple of months in this recruiting cycle. Okay, folks, 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Keep firing away. Give us your questions, comments, opinions, analysis, all of the above. 405-651-3439. We shall return with much more on the other side after a quick word from our sponsors here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Sound off any time of day on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. Knippelmeyer Chevrolet in Blanchard, USA.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
It's spooky season here at Riverwind Casino.
And the monster jackpots are taking over.
Experience all thrills and chills on brand new electronic games.
Celebrate in style as a VIP in a private suite in our Showplace Theater.
Game like an MVP when you play with your wild card.
Drop in every Friday in October to win your share of our $100,000 Creepin' for Cash giveaway.
So keep the good times rolling at your favorite haunt.
And we'll see you at Riverwind Casino.
This winter, hit the court and join the action. The Youth Winter Basketball League is here, open to athletes of all skill levels. Build your game, make new friends, and compete in a fun, supportive environment. With flexible registration options and volunteer coaches focused on teamwork, there's a spot for everyone, whether you're playing for fun or aiming to compete. Don't miss out on early bird pricing. Scholarships are available for Norman residents based on need. Sign up today and make this season unforgettable. Visit YFACsport.com. Are you, your family, or company looking for a locally owned and trusted management group? Carlsbad Management Group is an owner, developer, and manager of high-quality apartment communities in Oklahoma. They are a locally owned and operated management company for apartments and self-storage units. They are committed to providing exceptional apartment homes, customer service, and increasing the value of multi-family communities under our management. If you would like a free management quote today, call Carlsbad Management at 405-701-1411 and be part of the Carlsbad family.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
As we wonder why our kids are struggling, someone is getting bullied. As we discuss how to improve their mental health, someone is being harassed on social media. As we wonder why they're skipping school, someone is crying themselves to sleep. Knowing the signs is the best way to prevent bullying.
Please just leave me alone.
Learn the signs at sandyhookpromise.org.
Josh Helmer here, co-host of the Yarinoka Show and part of your Sooner Game Day coverage here at The Ref. Catch us every Sooner Game Day as we take a deep dive into the Sooners matchup for the week, leading up to and after the game. Whether the Sooners are playing at the Palace or anywhere across the country, there's no better way to listen than by tuning in on the KREF app. Apple or Android, it doesn't matter. Just search for KREF in your app store and never miss a second of the Ref's Game Day coverage. That's the KREF app to take the home of Sooner fans anywhere you go in the world.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
It's locked in here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune alongside Grayson Singleton. Mentioned it a little earlier in the day, but as of right now, Oklahoma has the number 1 class in the 2027 recruiting cycle. 5 commits to date: Cooper Hackett, Caden Penny, Luke Wilson, Damari DeJean, and most recently, as of yesterday morning, Mikhail McCreary. 4 of those guys are blue-chip talents. Hackett a 5-star, Penny a 4-star. DeJean and McCreary also 4 stars. Luke Wilson the only 3-star among them for the time being. But I believe it is the first time Oklahoma has been number 1 at any point in any recruiting class since Lincoln Riley departed in November of 2021, at which point the Sooners had the number 1 2023 class in the nation by a country mile. And what's crazy, man, I mentioned this earlier as well, is the cornerstone of that 2023 class at the time was none other than Malachi Nelson, who is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen, Grayson. I was watching late Saturday night. We are in bed. My wife is asleep. I have the TV still on. I am watching UTEP and Louisiana Tech out at the Sun Bowl. It was like a 10-3 game going into the fourth quarter, I think. Just horrific offensive football.
Why were you watching this?
Well, because both head coaches are friends of mine. Scotty Walden at UTEP, Sonny Cumbie at La Tech. I was just kind of flipping through.
Okay,
like,
fair enough.
Those two guys playing each other. I'll take a look at what their football programs are looking like these days. And, man, Malachi Nelson is so bad. Like it's tough to even begin to quantify how bad Malachi Nelson is. You really just have to watch it. You have to see it for yourself in order to appreciate it. It is astronomically difficult to believe that at one point this was Lincoln Riley's hand-picked savior. This was a 5-star prospect in the 2023 recruiting class. And somebody brought this up to me yesterday. It's really crazy to consider, and we've talked about this reality before, that the 2023 quarterback class, which was considered to be a once-in-a-generation type of class when all those guys were high school seniors, looks to be completely just overrun with busts aplenty.
Just a lot of mid.
Yeah, mid at best, terrible at worst. Terrible at worst.
Yeah.
I mean, Malachi Nelson, again, has been awful. Nico Iamaleava, he was mid to somewhat above average last year at Tennessee.
Not this year.
But he has crashed and burned out there at UCLA. No question about it. Dante Moore is probably the best of the bunch right now.
Dante Moore is in the Heisman conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's much more than you can say for any of those other guys. I mean, Arch Manning entered the season as the preseason Heisman favorite. We've seen how that's gone, and then Jackson Arnold is Jackson Arnold. But, man, I am curious to know, and I would love to get the opinion of someone more seasoned than myself in the evaluation game. How was it that we all missed so badly on those quarterbacks and on that entire class? Did it have to do with COVID at all? Was there any... There has to be something, right? There has to be something that was missed. There has to be some factor at play throughout that whole ordeal that prompted literally everyone in the industry to just be blatantly wrong about all of those players as prospects. And there's still time, right? There's still time for Jackson Arnold to redeem himself. There's time for Arch Manning to redeem himself. Dante Moore, after a very nondescript first 2 years of his college career, has started really hot in 2025 and is looking good for a fantastic Oregon program that's just laden with talent all across the board. There's still time for Nico, even though it's probably not happening at UCLA. Malachi Nelson, you can close the book on that one. It's over. It's over. That's a bust and a half.
Wasn't Brock Vandegrift in this class too?
No, Brock Vandegrift was class of 2021.
So a couple years earlier.
He was 2 years earlier. But, man, it's just crazy to look at that 2023 class in hindsight. And Jaden Rashada was the other 5-star guy in that group. And Jaden Rashada has already been benched at Sacramento State. So, how do you have this many crash outs in a single class, man? And maybe it's not something that could have been predicted. Maybe it's not anything that could have been missed. Maybe it's just how the cookie crumbles. Because I'll tell you, I watched Jaden Rashada several times in person throughout the offseason leading up to his senior year. He is the best. He was the best quarterback in a 7-on-7 setting that I've ever seen. Malachi Nelson kind of sucked in 7-on-7. That was my first inclination that, maybe he's not actually that good. But Jaden Rashada lit it up, man. I was like, how can you go wrong with this dude? But man, like, there's just, I guess maybe the best way that I can rationalize it is one of the things I've really come to appreciate a lot more over the last couple of years, and the Jackson Arnold experience has been beneficial in this regard, is, man, what's between the ears matters so much more than the arm talent or the mobility or any of that. If you got arm talent and mobility, great. But if you don't have the processing ability, if you don't have the right frame of mind to be able to go out there, go through your reads, execute, like if you don't have that aspect of the game down pat, you're not going to succeed.
No. And think about it this way. I think the best illustration of this is look at who's at the top of the Heisman leaderboard right now. It's Dante Moore and John Mateer, whichever order you want to put them in. I didn't put them in any order intentionally. But Dante Moore, former 5-star. What was John Mateer, 2?
2.
I mean, that should tell you right then and there how wonky this whole sort of process is. I mean, go back to, I think it was 2018, Baker Mayfield's draft. Yep. He was drafted number 1. I don't know what everybody's feeling on Baker Mayfield is. I think he's a top third of the league quarterback. You know who else was in that first round that was drafted ahead of Lamar Jackson?
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, who was out of the league in a year. So this whole thing, while it is so much fun, is entirely volatile in terms of evaluation as compared to what's actually going to happen. Except, I mean, that class that we're talking about, it wasn't really volatile. It was just downright, cheeks is what that's ended up being.
Downright cheeks.
That's what it is. They've just been straight cheeks. A lot of those guys. Arch Manning, I'm not gonna judge Arch Manning just yet. He's a third of the way through his first season as a starter.
We need to make that a regular feature on this program. Downright cheeks with Grayson Singleton.
Hey, let's do it. I don't know if I can get an NIL deal for that. That's appropriate for the radio, though.
Yeah, probably not. Dude Wipes.
Yeah, I did.
Downright cheeks, brought to you by Dude Wipes. Very appropriately, your first candidate is Jackson
Arnold.
Mike
God,
S.
he looks so bad. I can say it.
Oh my gosh, man! And
that whole team looks so bad. I mean, at least offensively, they did.
It's sad to watch because I do love Jackson Arnold as a person. Like as a kid, I root for the guy. He was a great representative for the University of Oklahoma. He burned the red shirt on 2 occasions when he didn't have to, and he could have been selfish about it.
Yeah, he was a team player.
He was, man, and he finished out the campaign when he wasn't obligated to. I root for success for guys like that, but, man, it is a hard watch seeing Jackson Arnold play quarterback in Hugh Freeze's offense right now. Mike S. says 2023 is just more proof recruiting rankings ultimately mean diddly. And to me, Grayson, again, this is why I try to bring everybody back to reality when we get all tied up in the discourse, for better or worse, about recruiting rankings. Oh, Oklahoma's recruiting incredibly well, or, oh, Oklahoma's not recruiting well at all. I mean, you see a little bit of both of this because right now they're 20th in the 2026 class, but they're first in the 2027 class. And so, man, I would advocate for not getting too high or not getting too low. Or I should say, and not getting too low about the way that Oklahoma is recruiting. Maintain an even keel. Take it all with a grain of salt because the aspect of it all that is every bit as important but doesn't get talked about as much when we're discussing recruits specifically is you have to develop. You have to bring guys to campus. You got to get them there first, obviously. But once you get guys to campus, you got to get the best version of them. You have to coach them up and get them playing football at a high level. And that's not going to happen on talent alone. For a quarterback, that's not going to happen on arm strength alone or accuracy alone. I mean, for a defensive lineman, it's not going to happen on strength alone. You got to have coaches that you can trust to develop talent. And I will say, from that standpoint, so much credit is due to this Oklahoma defensive staff, on which there has been a ton of continuity ever since the beginning of the Venables era. The only turnover there's been has been at linebackers coach. Ted Roof, then Zach Alley, now Nate Dreiling, with Wes Goodwin coaching the Cheetahs. Obviously, Brent Venables has kind of been the steady hand on the tiller for that unit. But Brent Venables put together an awesome defensive staff when he took this job. And the proof is in the pudding, because you've seen legitimate development at every single position across the board. And you can't spin it any other way. Those coaches have developed the talent that they've had, and they've established continuity because of that. Continuity with personnel. Oklahoma has very minimal transfer portal presence right now on that defense. The only guys from the portal that are regularly contributing right now on the defensive side of the ball for Oklahoma are Marvin Jones, Kendall Daniels, and Dominic Williams. It's just those three. Everybody else, homegrown and developed. All right, folks, 405-651-3439. We have one final segment of Locked In ahead. We'll talk OU football. We'll talk Cruton, because that's what we do around here. Stick around. More to come. Here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
A true Sooner fan wouldn't be caught dead without the KREF app. Join the Army. Get the app. Tell your friends. This is The Ref, where diehard Sooner fans listen.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Matthew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information. Hope is on the green this fall. Join the St. Jude Oklahoma Golf Classic, presented by Bob Moore Infinity, and help fund life-saving treatment for children at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Every shot you take helps St. Jude Children's Research Hospital continue its mission, where families never receive a bill. The event takes place at Quail Creek Golf and Country Club on October 20th. Whether you're swinging a club or sponsoring a hole, you're making a difference. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Sign up now at stjude.org/OKGolfClassic.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At our foundation, we invest in solutions, so learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
It's our favorite time of year here in Norman, and Confidence Ford of Norman has deals to get you game day ready. For a limited time, you can get a new 2025 Ford F-150 STX Crew Cab for $39,990 or $299 a month. You can also save up to $13,000 on a new 2024 Ford Escape or up to $14,000 on a 2024 Ford Bronco. Come take a test drive today at 825 North Interstate Drive or visit us online at confidenceford.com. Confidence Ford of Norman, a Cavender family dealership where confidence is Cavender.
Morning weather changes quickly. Road conditions change even faster.
Be prepared and stay on time with KOCO 5 News in the morning.
Real-time traffic updates and your first alert forecast to help you stay on time and get there safely.
Sky 5, the only news helicopter flying for you every weekday morning.
Bringing you instant looks at slowdowns and alternate routes. Oklahoma City's most accurate forecast, so you'll know what to wear and when to make a dash out the door.
Trust KOCO 5 News in the morning.
The year 2019, we went on a family vacation and we went to an amusement park.
And when you're a smoker, a lot of walking, that doesn't really mix. So I found myself being really winded and out of shape, and it was like, I'm too young for this. I wanted to use the Oklahoma Tobacco Helpline because I knew that I could get resources for free. It was a key part to my success in quitting smoking.
Visit us at okhelpline.com to get started. A program of TSET.
Ready to be the talk of the tailgate, class party, or birthday celebration? Get your event catered by Chick-fil-A on 12th Avenue in Norman. From delicious sandwich trays, nugget trays, and drinks by the gallon, to all the essentials you need to feed a team on the go, we've got you covered. Your crew will love the Pretzel Cheddar Club, complete with a buttery, cross-cut pretzel bun and applewood smoked bacon, and beat the heat with a cherry berry Sprite tea or frosted lemonade. Call the 12th Avenue Chick-fil-A in Norman today at 405-310-3189 and eat more chicken.
Children who've experienced abuse or neglect face a frightening, profound unknown. Courtrooms, foster care, new schools. No child should face these alone. Trained and supported court-appointed special advocates or CASA volunteers advocate in court on behalf of these children. They stay with each child until the case is closed and the child is in a safe, permanent home. Volunteers make a life-changing difference, but more children need our help. Lend your voice and change a child's story today. Learn how you can help right here in your community. Visit southcentralcasa.org.
Final segment of Locked In on this Tuesday. Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton here in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios. We enjoyed some Bad Daddy's earlier today. If you're not familiar with Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, why the heck not? It's out there on 24th Avenue, the University Town Center, 405-561-1067. Bad Daddy's is your go-to spot on game day. Your football headquarters with over 25 TVs, insane burgers. You can build your own salad. They got Bad Mama's chicken, margaritas, cheesesteaks, chicken strips, banana pudding, my personal favorite. So much for you over at Bad Daddy's. And I've long maintained that if I'm going to sit down and eat a burger anywhere in Norman, there is nowhere I would rather go than Bad Daddy's. No question about it. On the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439. We received a text from a listener in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hey, yo.
Who just texted us to let us know, hey, I'm from the 505, listening to the 405. Thanks, guys. You're welcome.
Appreciate you, homie.
Say hello to Walter White for me. But I guess Walter White's dead.
Yeah.
Say hello to Flynn for me.
What?
Say hello to Flynn for me if he's still out there. Haven't been through Albuquerque since, 2022? You've been to New Mexico, right?
I've been to Carlsbad, which isn't all the way to Albuquerque.
Yeah. The green chilies, man. It's good stuff. Had some green chili chicken and waffles last time I was in New Mexico. That hit the spot.
Green chili, chicken and waffles.
Dude, I'm telling you, that stuff's the real deal.
I'll take your word for it.
Green chili is it's one of those things that you can just you can pair it with pretty much anything within reason. Like, it's just a nice accent to whatever you're eating. At least anything that's savory. You know? Green chili chicken and waffles. If you haven't tried it, next time you're in New Mexico, give it a try. You won't regret it. Okay, back to the text line. Collecting feedback from all of you folks and answering your questions, as we do with regularity here on this show. Bill in Tulsa asked earlier, is Oklahoma recruiting Caden Jones, Kewan Jones' son, the running back at Jenks? And we get questions like this about every day now. I understand folks can't listen every day, and so I will keep answering them. No, Oklahoma is not pursuing Caden Jones. I don't know where he signs at this point. He decommitted from Oklahoma State last week, but he's not going to sign with the University of Oklahoma. The Sooners are not interested at this time. I have been told on pretty good authority that they are already looking to feel out potential transfer portal options at the running back position because, look, they're going to need a portal back.
Yes.
There's no two ways about that. Jaden Ott is done one way or the other at Oklahoma after this season as a senior. Javante Barnes is done. Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum, we've discussed it. What are the odds both of those guys stick around? One of the two may. The odds that both do? Not likely at this point. Torrey Blaylock feels like a cog that you can build around for years to come. And I think DeZephan Walker, the Sooners' lone commit at the position in the 2026 cycle, is somebody that's going to offer day one upside. But you need a portal back at the end of the season. One way or another, you need a portal back. I don't know if he's going to be in the portal or not, Grayson, but you know who I like is
that dude from North Texas?
Caleb Hawkins down at North Texas.
Yeah, he looked pretty good this weekend.
From Shawnee, Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
mind you. He's averaging 7 yards a carry for the Mean Green.
That'll play.
And has 7 touchdown runs through the first 4 games of his college career. He is a true freshman. 6'2", 200 pounds as well as a big boy. That's a big boy. Very interested to see whether he is in the portal at season's end, because a guy like that pops off at a place like North Texas. These days, he's going to be looking for an opportunity to upgrade at the end of the year. And so that's a name that I would file away right now. I know it's only September. That's a name that I would keep in mind for when that portal window opens in January.
Jimmy on the YouTube chat says Hatton would be an awesome flip.
Hatton would be an awesome flip. Not happening, though. He is all the way locked in with Texas A&M, and Oklahoma's just kind of given up the ghost on that recruitment. He has never really given the indication since his official visit to A&M in June that he was waffling on the decision to be an Aggie. So, looks like DeZephan Walker is going to be the only high school running back that they sign. Portal options could be appetizing, though. Should be appetizing if you're in a position such as the position Oklahoma's in. A 940 listener says, Caleb Hawkins, his mom played softball for me in college. UNT was his only D1 offer. That's right, man. And credit there to a good friend of mine, Patrick Cobbs, the running backs coach at the University of North Texas, who himself is an Oklahoma native. Grew up in Shawnee, played his high school ball at Tecumseh High. He might have been – have there been any Tecumseh Sooners in the last, 25 years? Patrick Cobbs may be the last big thing to come out of Tecumseh High. They do have a defensive back right now in the 2027 class, Kayshawn Thompson, that looks like he's going to be something. But Patrick Cobbs, former Tecumseh Fighting Savage.
Is that what they're called?
That's what they're called.
Interesting.
Given our current climate, I'm a little bit surprised that moniker has lasted
I was
until
about
2025.
to say, how have they not changed that one?
One way or another, it has lasted that long. And yeah, Patrick Cobbs had a cup of coffee in the NFL, if I recall correctly, with the Miami Dolphins, excuse me. Tyson from Stigler says, Hawkins at quarterback, Hawkins at running back. That would be cool.
That's some branding right there.
Hawkins squared in that backfield. Slim Brady says, I would not want to play running back at Oklahoma. Well, I mean, I think that could honestly be a pretty effective pitch in the portal to potential running backs if you're the Oklahoma staff and front office. Is if you're engaging with a running back target, it might sound like spin to folks like you and I who watch every single game of Oklahoma football and analyze it till we're blue in the face. But if you're just a dude looking to go play college football somewhere, looking to be a featured component of a given offense, and you're mindful of the success that Oklahoma is having on the gridiron right now, like, what are the odds, Grayson? Because I think they're pretty good. We're 4 games into the season. What are the odds that at the end of the regular season, 8 more games to go, we're talking in retrospect about Oklahoma's 2025 season and discussing how much better things might have been, things could have been, if the backfield hadn't been the glaring weakness for OU?
I would say I will tell you this. If they could run the ball effectively, maybe not even be top 5 in the SEC, but if they could run the ball effectively, I could say this Oklahoma team could win a natty. I would say that right now.
And that right there is the pitch to any portal running back is, look, we have the defense to compete for a national championship. We have the defensive staff to compete for a national championship.
Yeah.
Where regardless of person, it's just a machine that feeds itself at a certain point. We're going to be one of the best defensive programs in the country. We're going to have excellent offensive skill position players. We're going to have a good quarterback. We're going to have a strong offensive line. The one thing that we have not been able to figure out over the last 3 years is the backfield.
Yeah.
And your traditional bread and butter between the tackles running game. If you can show up here and be a part of this backfield and elevate our run game, and it's not going to all be on you because we've got Torrey Blaylock and we've got Zephan Walker coming in, and ideally you're holding on to Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum, or one of the two at least. But if you can come here and help us elevate this backfield, then it will give you an opportunity to shine at a university and in a conference that has a lot of eyes on it, and it can help put us over the top towards competing for a national championship.
I don't know if one freshman or portal running back fixes that, though. Because what have we maligned about this running back room for the longest? It's not the players themselves, even though they have some level of culpability in it. That rotation is funky, which that goes to the running backs coach. So I'm going to be a little I'm going to be a little hesitant to say, oh, this player's going to fix it or that player's going to fix it, when the dude determining how many snaps each player gets is still there. And look, DeMarco Murray I don't think is a bad running backs coach, but it's been strange. It's been a strange experience with him.
Recruiting Boomer on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line says, the percentage of texts I have sent to getting read as opposed to everyone else is quite depressing. Makes me really think about why I even listen and interact. Recruiting Boomer, we're trying, man. We're trying. Trust me. It's not like we're sifting through the text line thinking, oh, there's a Recruiting Boomer text. Better ignore that one. But we will read your question now. My question above all others is, why are we not talking about DeMarco on the hot seat? We have not had one running back get better while here other than Eric Gray. Everyone else has regressed. Tatum, number one, highly recruited. Javonte Barnes, he said Tatum was Casper, as in Casper the Friendly Ghost, non-existent. Javonte Barnes, Sawchuk all disappeared as well. Can't hold on to a coach that can't coach. I mean, look, Recruiting Boomer, I'm not going to say you're right or wrong, but, man, at a certain point, you got to look at everything, right? And so we'll see if this running game can get on track the remainder of the 2025 season. And I'll say this. Based on what I've heard, based on the accounts that I've heard of just the Jaden Ott experience behind the scenes over the last 4 months, I don't think that can really be helped. I don't think that's Jim Nagy's fault. I don't think it's DeMarco Murray's fault. I don't think it's Ben Arbuckle's fault. I think in many ways, and maybe this all changes, maybe he breaks out against Kent State and this is a moot point, but I think in many ways this is kind of akin, roughly, to the Devon Mitchell situation, in which you brought in a guy with the expectation that he was going to transform a room, right? And he was going to be the guy.
And
he just
can't get out of his own way.
He just wasn't about it. It's not to say that Jaden Ott has the exact same problems that Devon Mitchell had, obviously. I mean, we're not looking at a 250-pound Jaden Ott out there trying to make stuff happen on the ground.
God.
But sometimes it just can't be helped.
Let's get to this one. Spartan Sooner, we were talking about Florida potential decommits earlier. He says, what about KJ Ford?
Nope.
That was emphatic.
It was emphatic. And, unless something were to change dramatically, the answer is a firm no on KJ Ford.
Jeez.
Just because, I mean,
you finally have something definitive on that recruitment.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's nice to have. Y'all have heard me talk about this recruitment in the past, right? Where back in May, I was just kind of like, I don't have a clue, man. It's a really, really weird process. And I think at a certain point in time, Oklahoma just kind of got fed up with the weirdness. And look, they got Jake Krell, too.
Right.
Which helps matters. And they have Daniel Norman committed. And they have Matthew Nelson committed. And that's a freaking awesome haul at defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Nelson was the guy that everybody didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid on. And now he's risen into the Rivals 300 as a 4-star prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether or not he turns into anything at the next level is a different conversation entirely, but at the very least, the rest of the recruiting world is starting to come around to what Jim Nagy and Miguel Chavis and the OU Brain Trust saw in Matthew Nelson. So I have no qualms with Oklahoma's defensive end class. I think it's maybe the best one since that 2022 class that featured our Mason Thomas. And you can feel really, really good about that trio of Krell, Norman, and Nelson at Oklahoma.
You're going to need to write a book on the KJ Ford recruitment.
Oh, no, trust me. I have recruitments I could write a book on. Peyton Bowen, most conspicuously. I don't think the KJ Ford recruitment is one of them. All right, folks. That is all for today here on Locked In. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We will do it all again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Coming up next here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans, it is The Rush with Teddy Lehman and Tyler McComas. Stay here.